trapped in my mind, and I know it's tricky. Ooh, I don't know which way to go. Oh, I don't remember the words. Well, when I was really fat, right? When I got super, super fat, it was after I had 2 knee surgeries. It was during COVID. At that same time, I got diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, and I gained like 30 pounds. I couldn't put any weight on my leg. I just was really on a downward spiral. It felt like everything was happening to me, and life was rough. Life was very rough at that time. And I just remember waking up every morning feeling like, fuck, I would be fine if I didn't wake up today. Not that I was suicidal, I just hated myself so much and had so much self-pity that I didn't look forward to being awake. And for the longest time, I did nothing about it. Because it wasn't just when I got fat. I felt that way for most of my life. I always felt like I wasn't meant for anything. I always felt like I was destined to fail. I always felt like life happened to me. And I just felt like a victim. And I'm not blaming my mom and my parents, because my dad died when I was 15. He went to jail when I was 2 up until I was like, he was gone for 8 years in jail, came out, then he got cancer and he died. Now, I always looked up to my dad, and unfortunately, I didn't get to have the relationship I wanted with my father, and his death really fucked me up. Really fucked me up. But that's not what this video is about. I'm saying I don't give my mom any slack, because I grew up with, my mom raised me in my grandparents' house. So it was my mom, my nana, and my papa. Those are my grandma and grandpa, that's what I called them. And I was an only child for most of my life, but like, my mom just, like they treated me so well, they spoiled me so much. I always felt like everything, I didn't realize I felt this way in the moment, but everything was kind of just handed to me. You know, like I had everything I needed. And I never had to go out and earn anything. But a lot of my friends didn't have that same scenario, so they were always kind of go-getters and had, you know, ideas of what they wanted to do with their life, and I just never had any idea what I wanted to do with life. And I don't blame anyone else but myself, but like I genuinely didn't know which direction I wanted to go. For example, when high school ended, I didn't want to go to college, but I didn't want to go to the union. I didn't know. I had no clue. Like, it was almost like I got all the way to my senior year and all I cared about was smoking weed and popping Xanax and drinking my face off, that I never even thought about what I wanted to do with my life. It's almost like I thought like life was just going to be on easy mode forever. I'd never actually have to try. And then it was like a big wake-up call when college rolled around, because I had no clue what I wanted to do. I wasn't smart. I had no skills. I had so much self-pity and self-hate. But luckily, my mom works for a college, and being that she's worked there for a certain amount of years, I was able to get free college at a local college near my hometown. So that's what I did. I didn't want to go, but for 4 years I went there, and, you know, I hated it. I studied something called interdisciplinary studies, which was like 3 minors mixed into 1 major. I didn't pay attention to anything. I couldn't tell you one thing I learned from college. I wasted away 4 years of my life. All I did was go to college, come home, drink, play video games, smoke weed. I didn't do shit. It was a waste. It was a waste, especially with what I'm doing now. It was really a waste. But I was just wasting my life away for most of my life. Just wasting it all away. Wasting it all away. I was a fucking loser. And I just always felt like, why me? That was my attitude towards everything. I felt like I always had an inclination to become something. But I didn't allow myself to really feel into it, because I knew deep down I hated myself. I knew deep down I was lazy. So I tried to suppress it. And I used to get frustrated when I would think about it, because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And then, you know, just this mindset led into a really bad path. And I really hated myself. I genuinely hated myself. My habits were really, really bad. Smoking a lot of weed, drinking a lot of alcohol, eating badly. I had no idea what I was doing with nutrition. I would still train sometimes in the gym, even in like the end of high school and college. I was training. I was showing up to the gym 5-6 days a week. But I looked like this blob. I had some muscle, but there was no definition to me. There was no veins and abs. Like, I didn't have any of that shit. And, I always had something in me, though, because I always had jobs. I've been working since I was 13. I worked at the deli when I was 13. I used to sweep and mop the floors. The broom was taller than me. I only got the job because of my grandfather, but I always had these random jobs. I used to sell ice cream on the beach. Ice cream, push the cart around. I did that shit for 2 or 3 summers. What else did I do? I worked at a Harmon drugstore. I worked at some salad bar. I worked for the college I went to. I worked in the gym, just like scanning people in. I've just done so many weird jobs. I did landscaping at a cemetery for like 2 years. My boys. I worked for a moving company at one point. I just did so many different things. And then once college ended, it was another 4 years of waste. And it was like, I just always had the mindset like, I don't care. I don't give a shit. But really what that was I didn't want to use my brain. That's really what it was. I just didn't want to use my brain. I was fucking lazy. I was spoiled. I didn't grow up rich. I mean, I literally grew up in a house with my mom and my grandparents. But like, I didn't grow up rich. At all. My mom's always, God bless her, she's always tried her hardest, but she's struggled. And my grandparents are, nickel and dimers. They're, but they gave me what I need. They always had me fed. They took me where I wanted to go. They're really good to me. And when I finished college, it was like, what the fuck now? Now what? I've learned nothing. I still don't know anything about myself or where I want to go with this thing. So, thank God I had someone in my stepmom. She's in the mortgage industry, and one of the guys in the mortgage industry that runs a sales team was looking for a young guy out of college that he could just kind of groom up. And, I took the job having no idea what I was doing with mortgages, and I fucked off that for 2 years. Then I switched to insurance, and I fucked that off. And nothing in my life changed. It was always, I was just looking for the easiest way out, but I would see no success. It was always like, I'm trying, but I'm seeing no success. But I wasn't actually trying. I just told myself that. I wasn't actually ever applying myself. Ever. I never fully applied myself, but I felt like I wasn't meant for anything. But I had never even really tried 100% and gave my all and committed to anything. But once I went from mortgages to insurance, I thought insurance was going to be easy. Like, I'll make more money. It's going to be way easier. I don't have to try as hard. That was my thought process. But then I got into the insurance, and in order for me to make any money in insurance at all, and I promise this is all going to tie back to how you can get jacked. I promise you. Just trust. When I got into insurance, I ended up having to pass this exam to move forward. And mind you, I tried to do the same thing with mortgages where I had to pass an exam to really start making real money. And I failed it 2 times, and then I quit. And then I just switched to insurance thinking that would be easier, faced with the same problem. And I remember before even trying to take this exam, I was making $500 a week working in like a 200 square foot building. It felt like a prison. It literally had prison bars on it. I could show you a picture, actually. I'll put a picture up here for you. I literally worked basically in a prison, and it was horrible. $500 a week, and in order for me to get out of that scenario, the only way for me to get out was to pass an exam. Mind you, I've failed everything in my life to this point, and I was like, you know what, this is just not gonna, there's no way I can't pass this exam. I never even tried, and I remember telling my best friend, I'm like, bro, I'm ready to roll over and quit. I think I'm just gonna try and go into the union and just pour concrete or some shit, like try and do some physical labor. There's no possible way I can do this. And I was so down on myself, and I hadn't even tried. I've never tried in anything, and he said to me, he said, Devin, you need to stop. He literally told me, shut the fuck up. He's like, you never once in your life applied yourself 100% fully committed to anything, ever. He's like, I guarantee you, if you commit fully, you can pass this, bro. It's not that hard. And I sat on that for a little bit. I said, yeah, but you don't get it. You don't get it. That was always me. But you don't understand. And after I actually used my brain for like the first time ever and really thought about it, I was like, you know what? He's right. I've never fully applied myself to anything ever. It's like, you know what? I'm going to lock myself away in my room. I'm going to actually try. For the first time, I'm going to do a month and a half of real study. I'm going to force myself. I remember I would try and read the pages of the textbook, and it would just be like I'm reading it, and it's going in and out. In my eyes, into my brain, and right the fuck out. I was reading words and not comprehending anything because I did not care. And that was always my biggest thing. I don't care. But I forced myself. And around that same time, I found motivation. I started looking through YouTube to find some stuff. And that's when I discovered Andrew Tate. I discovered other motivational guys, right? Guys that just talk motivation. This was foreign language to me. I was like, what the fuck is all this? And it started to fire me up. And it was the right time because I was studying for my exam. I was like, wait a minute. Then I just went down the rabbit hole. I found so many different guys, so many different podcasts. I was like, whoa, info here, info here. Mind you, prior to that, all I'd done is watch Netflix and play video games. I didn't know about the YouTube world. Whoa, what is all this information? Wow, try hard, do this. And you could see up here all these notes. These were the notes that I wrote down before I passed the exam, and I stuck them all over my room because I was like, I had an awakening where it was like, wait, there's more to life than I've known right now. And I started writing down and taking notes on all the things I was learning, and I put them up all around my room because I was like, you know what? I don't want to forget this and go back to my old way of thinking. Like, I'm in a moment right now. So I wrote all these things down. I'm going to read you the notes that I have here. Think ahead. Prepare for everything. What will you do when that day comes? That's one of my notes. How I feel will not affect my decisions or stop me from doing what has to be done. That's another note I wrote. Today might be the last. Act like it. Here's another one. Sit up straight. Choose your words carefully. Speak it with your mind, not your feelings. Another one. This was like an Andrew Tate quote. Resist the slave mind. Defeat the matrix. Don't believe what you see. Use your third eye, aka your intuition, right? And I drew the picture of the eye. Here's another one. The only thing we truly have is the present. You cannot lose what you do not have. Because I was always projecting to the future. What if this happens, this happens? But the future doesn't exist. All we have is right now. So I wrote that one down. Answer to the old man, no one else. I love this quote. And basically what that means is whenever you're faced with a decision when it comes to risk, when it comes to taking on something new, think of yourself 80, 90 years old in a rocking chair. Right? Old, weathered, knees aching, lived his life. And ask that man what you should do. Because 99% of the time, he's going to tell you, take the risk, do the thing. Right? You want to think. You want to live a fulfilled life. That's what the whole point is. Look into the mirror. That's your biggest enemy. Make him your strongest ally and conquer the world. That one's fucking powerful. Here's the last one. Someone wants it just as much as you. Don't let them beat you. That's another one I wrote. Now, all these concepts were so foreign to me, and I stuck them all over my room, right? And what I realized is my mom, my nana, my papa, and just most people in my family have always lived in this little small town, and they never really branched out. And so these concepts were so foreign to them because they've only known what they grew up around. Like, my nana and papa went to high school in the town that they then grew up in, had a family in, that I lived in. So, like, they never left. My mom never left. God bless him, the best. But I'm just saying, these concepts were foreign, right? And I didn't have a father figure. So, there's one more note, and I have it over here. So this one was hidden. I'm going to grab it. One more note I wrote for myself. And I hid this in my closet because I didn't want to hurt my nana's feelings, my mom's feelings, or my papa's feelings when they came in my room. I didn't want them to see this one. I wrote, this house is not the real world. You must escape and be free and discover who you are. I wrote this stuff all down December 2023. I locked myself away in that room. I studied, I read these quotes every day. And I started to think different. I started to think, you know what, maybe I can do this. Maybe there's more for me than I've known to this point. I went into the exam and I was down. You know, I just thought, oh, I'm going to fail this thing. And it's a testing center, and I'm in there, and I take the test, and boom, I passed. That moment changed my life forever. That was the first time ever, that I realized that when I put my mind to something, I can do it. I remember driving home from that test. Mind you, I got a 76. I passed by 1 point. I needed a 75 to pass. I was the happiest person on the planet Earth. I was swerving, I was driving, I was blasting music. I was so happy because I broke down a wall of limitation that had been holding me back my entire life. I remember running inside. I was almost crying, bro. I could almost cry thinking about it. I ran inside. I grabbed my mom and my dad. I hugged them, and I almost fucking cried. And then I went into my office because I remember my coworker didn't think I could pass. And I remember shoving it in his face. Look at this shit. From that moment on, that woke up a demon in me. And a demon in the best way. A beast, a savage woke up. Because I said, I can do anything. Then I looked down at my fat ass body. And I said, I'm going to change this now. This is bullshit. This is not... I can change this. You see where I'm going? Once I got the belief, I said, I'm going to change this. And I said, wait a second. Okay, the way I've been thinking to this point clearly hasn't worked for anything. So what do I need to do? This is the mindset hack. I started thinking like the person I wanted to become. So I pictured, what do I actually want? Well, I need to lose about 20 pounds. I want bicep veins. I want abs. I want to be shredded, confident, be able to approach any woman, feel good in my own skin, shirtless, look good. And then I said, well, what does he do? Well, he knows everything about nutrition. So I went down the fucking rabbit hole. I learned everything I needed to know. And then I said, once I figured out what I need to eat, how I need to do things, I was like, you know what? He's consistent. Someone of that stature, you don't get to say, I'll be disciplined once I get the abs. You have to get the abs to be disciplined. So I started playing a role. I became an actor in my own life, playing the best version of myself. But I wasn't lying. I was only becoming. And as I started playing that role and getting more familiar with that character, look at me right now. I fucking became that character. I live in Florida in a 2-bedroom apartment. I was making 6 figures at my job. I quit that shit to start a business. I'm fucking jacked. I'm fucking confident. I took the risk. I moved to a different state. I got out of my hometown. I freed myself. This house is not real life. You must escape, be free, and discover who you are. That's what the fuck I did, even though I was scared as shit. Because the version of me I wanted to become wasn't scared. The version of me I wanted to become did what needed to be done even when he didn't feel like it. I wrote it all here, and I stuck it in front of my face every single day. And then I got shredded. Then I, got a new girlfriend. I moved out with her. Then I broke up with her. Then I quit my job. Then I moved to Florida. Now I'm here. Then I started a business. Then my second business. Then I quit my job again. And now here I am talking to you. And I just keep achieving more and more shit because that one moment, the proof that I can do it. And you can do it because I was a piece of shit. Popping Xanax and drinking my face off and going to house parties in high school and college crying. I would get so drunk I would cry because I hated myself so much. Uncontrollably sobbing. And here I am, looking at you through the eyes of the man I've always wanted to be. That's going to be you. Because your situation is not as bad as mine, and even if it is, or even if it's worse, it doesn't matter, because the second you decide of who you want to become, and you just decide that you're him now, your life immediately changes like this. It's done. It changed. It's over. The old you is dead. You need to become an actor playing the role of the person you want to become. That's it. It's like any movie. Think about Batman Dark Knight. All us boys love that shit, don't we, right? The Joker, Heath Ledger, best performance ever. Do you understand that Heath Ledger started acting like the Joker, pretending to be him, getting into the mindset of the Joker, for like 3 months before he was ever even on camera? That's why when the cameras flashed, he gave one of the best performances of all time, because he started acting like the person before he was ever the person. But it's the same thing with fitness. Who do you want to become? How do you want to look? How do you want to feel? Okay, think as if you're already him, and then you will be him. Don't worry about the how you're going to do it, because the path illuminates as you walk it. Okay, so think like the person you want to become, and in no time you become that person. And if you don't have proof that you can do everything you say you're going to do, use me as an example. And if that's not enough, then start small. Pick one thing small that you're going to start doing and commit to it and stay disciplined with it. Tell yourself tomorrow you're going to wake up an hour earlier than you usually wake up. When the alarm goes off, actually get up. It's something so minuscule, but what it's going to do is reaffirm to your subconscious mind that you said you were going to do something and you did it. And then you're going to realize, wait, I can do this with almost anything. If you've been shy to talk to that girl, you tell yourself, you know what, I'm going to go talk to that girl tomorrow no matter what I feel. And then go do it. And all of a sudden, you're becoming this person. I just did this shit today. There's this girl at the gym I thought was cute. I went up to her, I said, what's up? We had a good conversation. I didn't even get her number, and I didn't give a fuck. Because I don't measure whether or not I'm changing based off what happens in my physical world. I measure my success based off my self-discipline. As long as I'm becoming the man I need to become, everything I want will come to me. I'm not chasing the body. I'm not chasing the material possessions, the money. I'm chasing becoming the man. I'm working towards becoming the man, and I know I'm becoming a man who's deserving of everything I want. So if you want that fit body, if you want to be jacked, shredded, confident, and feel like the best you, become the man. Just start becoming the man. That's the hack. Be the man now. People ask how long does you can use the word manifestation, okay? I don't like the word very much because I think it's hocus pocus. I think manifestation is very real. I just think people have the wrong perception. Manifestation is when you are basically the person you want to become in your own mind before you ever see the physical result. It's when you become not dependent on seeing the physical result to know you're that person. I don't need to see the physical results, the things I want, the material possessions unfold in front of me to know I'm changing, because I know my self-discipline is there. I know I'm doing what's required to be the man I want to become every day. That's all you need. All you need is self-discipline, and you can become that man. Just enter the mindset of the man you want to become, and boom, you are him. You're him, bro. You could do anything you want to do. I hope you're better than me. I want to see you be better than me. Better. Become the best you, bro. Do it now, though. Do it now. Life is finite. We don't have the time we think we have, so just do it now. Listen, I hope my story was inspiring to you. I hope it helps you. That my main goal is I want to see you win. And if you want one-on-one help, learning how to enter this mindset, learning how to get fit, learning how to do all the things you want to do in your life and be held accountable on the things, then book a link. Book a call. Links in the description. I work with guys one-on-one all the time. This is what I help them do. This is the reality I wanted. What's yours? I'll help you do it. I'll hold you accountable to it. Hit the link in the description. Book a call. See if we're a good fit to work together. But I hope this story was inspiring to you, bro. I hope you don't just watch this, get motivated, and then just click off. I want to see you take action on the things I've just told you, because you can do anything. Go do it.